Okay, we're still just gonna sit here and stare at you until it fills up. Whoever blinks first is set up for sacrifice.
It's after midnight. Dirty books, the old man.
The semen.
Press and you don't have it?
Wow.
How could you? No, hold on.
No.
Yes, you can. Okay, what we're whispering. As long as we whisper, nobody can hear what we're saying.
Let's get it started in here. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I would totally pay $3.99 a minute for that.
What panel is this? What are we talking
Old
about?
school versus new school.
Are you the new school and we're the old school?
Unless I read it wrong, it's old school versus nude school.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're the old school, that means that Karbowski must be...
Are they saying that we're old?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Strip for us?
I'm not really sure what that means, old school versus new school.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when does old school start? I could be new school if it was. I started 10 years ago, but if
You're new
that
school.
You're new
started,
school.
so that's new.
25 years
So
before
I'm
the
new.
microphone, now man and boy. We didn't have no fancy microphones back in those days.
We did
You
everything
held up
with
the
it.
tape and you yelled at it. That's right, tape.
We did used to have paper copies with the little. Do you guys still? You know, like they would have a music stand up and the paper copies.
We still have
we still have...
Dang, we have like video.
You guys have a machine down there.
guys-
I've recorded it, Funimation. You take this thing, and it's this giant 6-block long mega machine, and you feed scripts and voice actors into one end. And like 2 miles away at the other end of the building, finished anime just shoots out of the end. It's true.
Pretty much.
It's a machine.
Horrible.
All right, we can close the doors and pump in the interesting gas now.
Why don't you introduce yourself? Who are you? Seriously, who are you?
Who are you?
My
My name is Brittney Karbowski.
Hi, Brittney.
I do voices for Funimation Entertainment and Sentai Filmworks and Seraphim Digital Media and Epcar 5000.
Hi, my name is Mary, and I do voices for Studio Plus. I directed like Cowboy Bebop, Wolf's Naruto, Sang for Hell.
Hi, my name is Taylor Scott. Hi, your shoes are awesome, by the way. So, I'm a voice actor, sort of, because basically I just take the voices on the inside and wear them on the outside. I have been doing this 25 years now, man and boy. I started back in the He-Mans and G.I. Joes and Transformers-y stuff, and I've done a butt ton of real American hero, voiced by a bunch of Canadians. You bastards.
Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada, can you see? That's the free trade version. Bryan Adams once was doing a sporting event where he, as a Canadian, was singing "O Canada" to open the event, and he screwed up the melody, and he started singing "O Canada" to the tune of "O Christmas Tree." And there was nothing he could do. He said there was nothing he could do. He just had to keep going. "O Canada, O Canada."
That makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, I do a bunch of stuff. You may know me from such things as more stuff than you can remember than I can remember. Over to you, Richard.
The Alzheimer panel over here.
Old school.
Lord. Well, I'm Richard Epcar, and I refuse to do that stupid voice you guys were doing, so.
Yeah,
That's the one right there. I don't know, maybe after a couple
Oh my
martinis. I
god,
would
you're
do
such
it.
a pussy.
By the way, just on a final note, I'm not wearing pants. Neither is Mary Elizabeth.
Everybody shout, put it on, put it on, put it on. All right.
So, yeah, this is old school versus new school. We don't know what this means.
Yeah. We will open it to your
I'm assuming it means that some of us, like I started 30 years ago even, and even beat you, Mr. He-Man, G.I. Joe guy from Canada. So I think, what I think that means is when we started doing this a million years ago, we didn't have beeps, we didn't have Pro Tools, we didn't have any of that kind of stuff. We just had to basically go in there and do the loops. And we had to do it over and over again until it was in sync because we had no way to slide it like we do now. Now it's easy. You new schoolers have it easy.
You kids don't know what we
You
had
don't
to
know what it
go
was like.
through.
We walked to school 25 miles in the snow.
Uphill. Both ways. Both ways.
And we liked it.
Sorry, it's the Diet Coke. I'm just going to belch the whole time.
I have never wanted you more
I
than I want
basically
you.
just
Thank you
covered
very
the
much.
entire gamut of what difference there is. So I think we've done our panel.
Thank you so much,
Goodbye.
guys.
You guys
Have
have
a
been great.
great time. We have signings tomorrow, and please tip your waiters. They've been very good to us. And will be to you, trust me. With a
Don't
good
forget to
tip.
try the shrimp.
I'm here waiting for the movie. I don't know about you guys.
I know, it's Planet of the Apes, right?
I did voices on both those movies, by the way. Yeah.
Your dialogue
You guys-
was amazing.
It was. Did you see the first one? Did you see
Yeah.
the,
I
did, actually.
You know the giganimous ape? The big guy?
That was
Buck?
you.
That was me.
Wow.
You know, you can use the guy.
Do the voice.
He runs
Monkey,
for the
monkey, do the
helicopter.
voice.
I was a big
Dance
ape.
monkey.
Big ape.
Great
Hands
babe.
off me, I'm your damn dirty ape.
Get your hands off me.
That was kind of fun to work on that stuff.
Yeah.
To me, I just real briefly, to me the fun thing of all this stuff that we do is getting to work with the people that we kind of respected when we were kids growing up, or on the shows that we saw when we were kids. Like I get to work on Transformers and X-Men and some shows like that I saw when I was a kid, and I got to be part of it, later on. So that's kind of cool on Planet of the Apes. So that's the fun thing for me. What about you, Scott?
It's all about you, isn't it, Richard? It's all about
Yeah.
you.
You guys can leave. It's okay. I got
I'm just saying that there's three of us on this table, and then there's Richard's table.
I have it in my
Just
contract.
saying.
I get my own
Oh,
table.
Jesus, Richard's not wearing pants either.
Where are my blue M&Ms, damn
Oh,
it?
my.
They're green, and they're in the green room. So, you guys have any questions? Let's talk.
Questions
What
would
do you want
help
to talk
us
about? We'll
out
talk about
because
anything.
that would
And I
save
mean,
our sorry butts from sitting up here just
anything.
rambling.
Richard,
Richard.
what was
Richard.
it like playing the devil in Dracula, Sovereign of the Damned?
The devil, you say? I'm the devil? It was hell. I'm here all week trying the veal. It was fun. It's great. It's always fun to play those kinds of characters. For some reason, they cast me as a lot of evil villains. I don't know why. I don't know. But it was fun. Any other questions?
Oh, they're flying up now.
It's like grass eels. Because I was just in the aquarium being an ichthyological nerd. Yes. You know what I almost did involuntarily? I was like, I couldn't hear you, so I almost did this.
I do that all the time.
That's old
But
school.
I like the rim shot. You got a rim shot there.
That was nice.
Wow, I didn't get a rim shot. Yeah, what was your question? We'll return with Mary's radio show after this.
Characters crossing over, like when you're doing another voice, do you end up being like, oh wait, no, if I'm doing Krillin, that's not this person?
No.
Scott does because he's schizophrenic.
There are so many voices in my head, but I do have sort of a weird filing system for most of them. There are occasions when I'm creating new characters where I'll, because I'm trying to break this down. I have this thing because I'm going to write a book and make $1 billion Brazilian dollars. I'm looking at voice work like colors. There are 3 primary colors with which you can create any hues in the universe. So I'm trying to break it down to the 3 primary voices. I've got one. It's the Bing.
The Bing?
The Bing. Gonna go home and meet the wife and beat the wife and kid ball. Which then, if you take that, it's like, it's not dissimilar. It's like, damn it, Dale, there's something wrong with Bobby. So you get that placement. So I'm thinking, if I can get the 3 primaries, then it's like, here's your formula. You can make any frickin' voice in the world. What was the question? Oh, did they ever cross realms? No, but a lot of times I will, as I'm creating stuff, I go, you know what? There's a bit of that in there, and something, it's not like there's a little Chris, whatever. You just start throwing elements of stuff in, and that's how you create interesting voices and characters, I think. I do a thing when I'm teaching called the Toolbox. This is going to be a longer answer than I was intending. It's like, if you can do 2 voices, I'm getting very serious now. All right, take the root there. You know, you can do a high voice and a low voice. And this is strictly voices, which is not the same as characters, and I stress character over voice, but. So you've got two voices. Well, then you say, you know, I watched a Red Dwarf marathon, so suddenly you've got this, you know, I've got this Manchester accent stuck in my head, man. Well, if you combine that, you don't have two, now you have four. You know, then suddenly I develop this weird lateral lisp. Well, if you throw that into the mix, now you don't have four, now you got 8, and it starts to grow exponentially. Because on some shows like on DBZ, I was Piccolo J. Stabur, Karuni Majin Buu, Old Kai, South Kai, Dr. Reef, blah, 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 and a million other characters. We were cranking that stuff out. So they would go, oh, you're also this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. Go, beep, 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 and don't make it sound like anything you've ever done before. So if you can dip into that, it's a really nice way to cheat. As I say, that's just voice, not the same as character.
Found that very interesting. Yes, you.
Oh my gosh,
First this guy here, and yes, this.
I have a question for Brittney. What was the first thing you got paid to do?
The first thing I got paid to do?
Well,
oh, you don't want to know.
Oh,
hold on. You can stop.
I have to do it for you.
I'm just joking. The first thing I got paid to do, like anime was, or oh, okay. So I started doing I was doing professional musical theater since I was 12, and I was paid to do those. But yeah, like just like little parts mostly in musicals for like the Alley and in Houston and places like that.
That's a great theater, by the way.
Yeah, it's a very good theater. I'm sad that I don't do it anymore, but the anime, it takes up all the time.
Were you talking strictly voiceover?
Yeah, what do you mean?
What was the first anime you did?
Oh, the first anime I did was Bit Parts and Gantz. Yeah.
Can we all answer that? That's actually a really good question.
Yeah,
I think.
it was Bit Parts. I think my first lead role was Alba in Jinky Extend at 80 Vision Films 10 years ago. Yeah.
Mary Elizabeth?
Mine was Queen of Diva, Queen of the Bugram Empire in El Hazard, I believe.
Queen of the Bugram Empire.
Pirate Slaughter. It seems like an Australian place.
No, it's
the Bugram Empire.
Queen of the Bugram Empire. I was doing Kate Mulgrew at the time.
The voice, not the woman.
That came later.
You need to tell your Kate Mulgrew story. It's such a great story.
Oh, all right. So I was voicing a woman left town. They needed a voice match, and she was kind of doing Kate Mulgrew. So I just pushed it even further as Diva, Queen of the Bugram Empire. And then I ended up I came to Los Angeles to do an episode of Star Trek. So I got Star Trek Voyager, which was awesome. And the last day I was in Med Lab, and I walked in, and there was Kate Mulgrew, and she said, "So, how was your time on Voyager?" And I was this close to saying, "It was wonderful. I wish I'd met you sooner." Well, I didn't.
But you didn't. Very first gig I ever did, very first gig voiceover was The New Adventures of He-Man back in Gasp 1988, which changed my life forever. The very first anime I did was quite a bit later. What the hell was that? Other than I did some weird stuff, like I think I was like Hello Kitty's dad in something in like the late 80s, but I did a show called Project A-ko, and I played not one, not two, but 3 different women in that show, and I went, this anime stuff is weird. I still think that.
Yes.
So that's the split form version of my answer.
The only one I remember is Robotech, starting out in Robotech. I was Ben Dixon, Lon Cangrell, and we had a lot of fun with it. We recorded it at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and people were sleeping on the stairs, and they had to get it out really quick, so we were running from studio to studio to try to finish it, and we just thought nothing of this thing, to tell you the truth. They thought, we're just doing a job, and nothing would ever happen with this thing. And then 10 years later, they had this big convention for it, and people just went bazibas over it, and we said, wow. And people to this day come up to me and tell me that Robotech has changed their lives. So it's kind of, humbling, I guess, to be part of that, and it made me appreciate all this stuff a lot more. So anyway, there's that.
All right, the loud guys in the back.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite person to act as in Dragon Ball Z?
Me?
Yeah.
The seminal role in the entire Dragon Ball universe, and what I like to think of as the role that I was born to play, farmer standing in field. There's a collector card for him. That was the very first episode. It's like, oh yeah, you're this farmer and this thing shoots him from space. I'm like, what the hell was that? That was it. You saw it right there.
Weren't you farmer outstanding in his field?
Outstanding in his field. Yes. They were all fun. It was ridiculous. It was a retarded thing. We did it for 10 years. Concurrently while the Texas dub was going on. That got very strange. But... and then your head explodes.
Yeah, for Scott.
Hi.
I think working with Lou, Devine, Phillip, and Eric.
How did it feel working with Lou Diamond Phillips and Luke Perry?
Yeah.
Warm and squishy. I did a Western movie called, what was it, Angel and the Bad Man? Yeah, it was great. We had a ton of fun on that. Because we were shooting on this old Wild West location. Angel and the Bad Man. Oh, the Bad Man? Angel and Batman. That'd be the coolest Western ever. Pull your gun. You better round up them wagons, Cookie. Why? 'Cause I'm Batman. God damn it, Duke, you're out chafing me from last time. They were great. Luke was actually good, because I kind of went in going like, okay, you know, 90210. And he's actually a very real dude and a very nice guy. And Lou is a phenomenally nice man. And, you know, you think like, oh yeah, what happened to his career? You know, he just come back from doing 6 months of The King and I in London. You know, actors that disappear don't disappear. They go off and do stuff. So it was a real privilege for me to work with those guys. Yeah, well, he was amazing in La Bamba. I mean, that's where most people know him from, but yeah, then I got shot dead. To my cold, bleeding.
You were one of the bad men, weren't you?
I was one of the two bad men. Yes, darling?
Yes, we've got a question.
Oh, hi.
I don't have a question.
Can we text you?
Oh, I see. Would you like a microphone?
I think a microphone might help if you guys don't on. I think you kind of were already expecting this. Can we rule the Fire Nation together?
Lisa and Prince Zuko. I now pronounce you man and wife, etc., etc., etc. Go make babies.
Congratulations.
I am, by the way, a legally ordained minister. I could marry you.
I am as well, so we could do it together.
Universal Church of Life?
Universal Church of Life, baby.
Wow, that's like awesome.
I married Travis Willingham and Laura
Congratulations,
Bailey.
that's what it is.
And Troy Baker and Pamela and Jennifer Hale and Barry. Those are my 3 marriages. We can ordain you right now on the internet. It's just sign up.
All right, hands up, top that one. I don't have a question, but I would like to give birth on the floor right now.
Me first.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Now.
Oh, no.
I'm going to perform a bris on you on the table here. So.
With the new Brisomatic 5000.
Get that for me, would you, Deirdre?
It's okay. Baby's just on the floor. It'll be okay for a while.
I'm sorry, my little loves. I'm going to have to sell you all for medical experiments.
When you got a newborn baby and they're all like sticky and stuff, can you throw them at the wall like one of them sticky octopuses and they just roll down? Because it cleans them off, too.
And you got that cord, you can just reel them in again and do it again.
Smells like these sticky octopuses are in the hallway, actually. You had a question, sir. You in the hat.
How from when y'all? This is kind of for all y'all. Like when y'all first started, how has the industry? How do you think the industry has changed in your eyes, the anime industry?
Oh, that's like a legit question.
Yeah, damn you making us think.
I think it's expanded greatly. I think that for a while they were funding a lot of stuff and giving us in LA a lot of time and a lot of money to really make things great. And then the company saw how popular it was getting, so then there was this flood of anime, but now they want it, or at least at the time they wanted, okay, so now we want it faster and cheaper. Faster, cheaper, faster, cheaper, faster, cheaper. So it was, there was a little bit of a backfire at that for me, anyway, but it's still going strong. I mean, there's still a lot of shows that are still there and going, you know, 9 years on Naruto, 7 years on Bleach, 10 years on DBZ, and I mean, it's nuts. The technology's gotten much better. I still have actors that come in and try and clip the end because they know I'm running too long. And I was like, just finish the sentence. So we can slide it, we can compress it, we can do whatever we need to make it fit. So just go for performance. I think now there's it's a better time technologically for actors and directors to be able to manipulate the dialogue and the voices and the waveforms to really fit the flaps if we have time to do that, which is terrible because we've got all this technology to do it, but sometimes they don't give us the time to really finesse it and make it right, you know?
That's true.
The overall industry is changing too. I mean, this isn't necessarily specific to anime because we don't do a ton in Vancouver. It was always kind of secondary stuff, and it's drifted off to other places because they wanted faster, cheaper, better. But you know, even just the overall animation market, the industry, especially in terms of stuff like that used to be fundamental to our, which was the Saturday morning cartoons. You know, save the world in 22 minutes and sell some action figures. There was a time where we were cranking. I mean, I was working on like 12, 15 different series at once. The market for that has changed, largely in part anyway, due to like the internet, blah, blah, blah. You can, so there isn't the market demand, and the market demand for that kind of stuff is based on how much advertising can we sell while we air this. They don't do that anymore. They're going, you know what, we can generate just as much ad revenue by just running reruns of Adventure Time, so forever, or old shows. So there is less of a demand for new product. The other side of that is the stuff that is being done tends to be better shows. You know, they're not just doing a lot of the like, you know, spew, spew, spew. Mind you, from our point of view, it was like, all right, how many 65 episodes of that do you want? And, you know, a few $1,000 an episode per character, thank you very much. Those days are slipping by. But we do have microphones now, which makes it way better.
And a lot more celebrities are doing this now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's people are having kids, and they're like, they don't care. My kids don't care at all that I was in Pulp Fiction. They want to see me in Samurai Jack, you know, I mean, or whatever. So it's a lot of us are getting squeezed out by
most of them are
celebrity.
horrible too, I have to say.
Well,
having to direct a lot of them, it's not fun because it's a whole other style of acting. And some of them are good, some of them can come in and do a great job, but some of them are just, it's like trying to get a kabuki dancer to do ballet.
Yeah, it's a different art form. It's like, man, it's all in the eyes. It's like, yeah, this is a cartoon. You don't have any fucking eyes! Learn how to act! I'll give you a little insight on some stuff. I mean, a lot of the you know, the big box. Pixar, no, because they cast so perfectly, so brilliantly. Even if it's the weirdest choice, they cast. But other companies that you know, they want their big, you know, animated features with how many names can we get on the box? What is often done is, say hypothetically, after they've worked with celebrity B7-1 for 4 months going, he can't do this, like it's awful. They will then hire someone like us to go in 2 hours and deliver the performance they want. And then they will sit down with 17-1 and go, okay, we love what you're doing. We're so excited about this, but why don't we just, as an exercise, if we just play you this line like 10 times and then have you say it just like that, why don't we do that just as like an acting exercise? That's the performance you get. It's a bit sucky, and their $10 million is gonna trump what we get for that. But so we are the unsung heroes. And yet Pixar is so good at doing exactly what it should be so easy to do.
They're really good. I'm so lucky. I'm working on this new show called Pen Zero Part-Time Hero, and the cast is insane. It's Adam Devine from Pitch Perfect, and Thomas Middleditch from Silicon Valley, and Alfred Molina, and you know, we got to direct Sigourney Weaver, and it's just, they're so amazing, and they are the complete opposite of that. They want to come in, and they said, you know, Sigourney Weaver said, I will be here all day. I'll be here till midnight. If you want to, however many takes you want to do, I don't care. And at that point, I was like, I tip my hat to you, my lady, because you don't have to act that way. Yeah. You could be, should you want to. I'm doing this once, and I'm leaving, you know? And she's a top-notch, amazing, wonderful actress and woman, and I'm madly in love with her now, in a totally platonic way.
Wait a minute, no, I didn't, before the platonic thing, I was in a happy place.
Yeah. No, but so it's the industry is changing, you know, and I think that the celebrities that are coming in are realizing you have to do a good job. You've got to, or you will get recast. You know, you will get recast. It happens.
The industry's also spreading out too. I mean, when I started, it was all prelay cartoon work. You know, with always there's radio commercials and stuff, and then anime came in and stuff. There's a lot more, obviously, a tremendous amount more video game work going on now. Video game work has become a very big viable part of voice. This is getting very serious. I like it when I'm just up here.
Does anyone else do the alien invasion?
What?
You're depressing me.
I know, I'm depressing myself. We are here to celebrate life.
No, we're not.
Does anyone have any questions about lemurs? I've just come back from the aquarium.
Did you see the baby lemur? The lemur on the baby on the news this morning?
No.
That's real cute.
But a lemur leapt on a baby?
Yeah, it's like some woman
Ate
said,
his
oh, by the way,
face,
there's
and
a
that's
lemur
cute.
on your baby, and the baby's fast asleep, and a lemur is just on his head. In the stroller. It was so cute. It was really cute.
Any other questions that don't pertain to lemurs?
Nothing simian related.
You really had a question about a lemur?
I like to move it.
Yes.
What about marsupials?
You're talking to an Australian, you know that, mate.
Marsupial!
Whoa!
That's a really big word. I don't know. What does that mean? I don't know.
Is that what kind of word was that?
It's like a really big word.
It's big.
Marsupials are your basic pouch non-mammals. Like your koalabees and
Yes,
your
you
woolies
with the funny hair.
and your woolongongs.
She was wrong.
Producing an anime, and she said that it has to be approved, like after you do the dubbing and everything, before you can air it has to be approved by the company, like whoever wrote it, whatever. Do you find that it's easier now to get the approvals, or is it harder than it was?
Well, I think sometimes when they realize, you want 45 pickups? Okay, that's another 2 days worth of work to get us back in the studio, call in the action. They're just like, yeah, okay, you know, it's
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
good,
there's a
crank it
click, redo it. It's like, we could edit out the click, you know, just let us, sometimes that happens. But yeah, no, I mean, it's their product. We create their product. So they have final approval. So it makes sense.
Would you like to
But
see the
it's
lemur?
all different, you know, depending on
The
who the
lemur.
client is. That happens sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they just give you carte blanche and say, do it, and we want it, you know, whatever. What is that? Naked pictures of lemurs?
There was indeed a 100% naked lemur.
Most of the time, I mean, being from the side of just doing the voice acting, and I don't do any of the production or anything like that. So, I mean, I'm not the one who sends it over to get it approved, or I don't know how fast that happens. But I do find that I like it when they have 1 million pickups, and I get to get paid for that. And I'm like, well, that's wonderful. And most of the time, it's like, oh, you said this name wrong, and I'm like, well, good. That is great. Yeah, that was wonderful. Sorry about that.
You know what's aggravating a little bit though is because a lot of times they will want you to say certain things in a line of dialogue, and it won't be sync, it won't fit, and so you'll do it the way they want you to do it, and it's not going to fit, and it looks terrible, and there's no amount of change. And, you know, sometimes they just refuse to let you change it, and you just kind of have to point it out to them. They don't understand why things are different sometimes when they get them back, even though they've approved it. They've rewritten it the way they want to, but they don't write it for sync. So that can be really frustrating to us.
At some point, ultimately, as an ex-girlfriend of mine once described me, we are polyphonic prostitutes. We will make sounds and words for money. The client is always right, even when they suck.
And Scott does more for money.
She's not
He does more than just voices.
She's not your girlfriend anymore, is she?
There's a whole
This would be my
website.
ex.
Oh, good. I mean,
I love that description.
that's
I think it's an accurate description of what it is we do. We are polyphonic prostitutes.
I like to see it as that we are
money.
pianos and play us. That's how I see it.
We are the world.
Well, if you want to be
I
all
always said the blanket
poetic
is penis
about it.
thing.
Well, it's better than prostitutes.
Yeah.
Bad man.
Fucking whore.
Back when you were cranking out anime as fast as possible, how did you maintain your voice, and how have you maintained it over the years?
We're still cranking it out as fast as possible. Actually, it's faster now than it was before.
Over the years, how have you maintained your voice?
I don't think the anime is the problem. I think it's the games
the
where you have to
games.
scream your butt off for hours and hours. That's,
Obviously, you never worked on DBZ.
I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say Soul Eater was pretty rough.
Screaming
man.
makes you more powerful in anime.
Screaming makes your voice more powerful. I firmly believe. I don't know. Some people, you know, it depends on how you approach it. There are people that come in very much with their instrument, and you know, and it's warm up. Other like the only thing I've ever done in my life that ever physically hurt was playing Cobra Commander, because that was just after Chris Latta passed away. It's like, well, I'm sorry, but that hurt. For me personally, very little destroys my voice. And I always think the more kind of fractured things get, the more interesting they sound. Anyway, you develop a certain character with voice. You gotta know, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, I've seen people come, you know, and this is something I caution people that are getting started. It's like, you know, if you're gonna go on an audition for something, and you come up with this great, you know, it's like this, I've got this thing where, it's like, that's cool as hell. Well, you get hired, and if 10 minutes into a session you can't maintain that, guess what? We're voice actors. They'll go, can you do that exact voice that he just did? It's like, yeah, sure, good, you're hired. You, out of here. You know, you have to, but so, I kind of come with the premise of no, train, learn everything you possibly can, and then in the sake of making strange sounds, like throw that all out the window. I do stuff that a speech pathologist would be shocked at, but as I said, and other people, it's a different approach. It depends on the kind of characters you're playing too.
Yeah, I mean, rule of thumb, never audition a character that you can't maintain, because you'll be replaced. You know, and then the rest of the time, schedule the screamers at the end of the week so you give yourself the weekend to recover.
Yeah, and also, like, sometimes in sessions, they will let you do the screaming at the end of the session. Like, say I'm going for an 8-hour session, they'll push it to the back because they know, like, at that point, I might lose my voice because I'm just talking straight for that long. But, yeah, like you guys said, it really depends on the character. Some characters I could do all day, every day, forever, and I would never lose my voice. Like Makoto Misuka, I could do that all day long. Or Yamada. But if I'm doing Black Star, yeah, I could only do a couple hours at a time because I was tasting blood at the end of that, because all he does is scream like this, and it's like, so eventually it hurts. But really, I guess you're gonna maintain. I mean, you know, drink liquids, stay hydrated, don't do the chocolate or all the things that coat the throat. If you feel damage, stop. But you're gonna get a little bit of damage. I know that my voice has gotten lower since I started doing this. I can't do characters from 10 years ago because I'm like, I don't even know if I can hit that pitch anymore, but that's just one of those things. It's like, you know, if you're a musician, your strings are gonna start breaking, you're gonna need to replace them, but you can't replace your voice. So eventually you're gonna get some sort of damage, but like Scott says, sometimes it's just that adds to the character of you. And people like the raspiness, so it works out for me.
I've done, some of the video game I've been doing lately is a lot of like really huge, rumbly, massive, like, people of mass, I use that term accurately. I don't have the world's biggest or deepest voice. I will go in a lot of times and do all the screamy stuff because it'll blow the chords apart. Then you're like, hang on, and I go, give me 10 minutes to go out and have a cigarette, and I'll come back in 3 octaves lower, and they're like, what the hell happened? It was like, trust me on this. So sometimes you could utilize damage to your advantage, which is probably a horrible piece of advice for me to ever give anybody. I recommend smoking and drinking.
Don't try this at home,
That's
kids.
right. That's how it works for me.
That should be the name of your book, Damage to Your Advantage.
Damage to Your
Scott
Advantage.
McNeil.
The Scott McNeil story.
Also, you know, the most important thing too when you're doing this stuff is just you've got to relax your voice. You can't tighten it up when you scream. You got to know how to scream properly without hurting yourself.
Yeah, take a deep breath, use the diaphragm. All that. Yeah, I don't just like go screaming. I really had to teach myself to take a deep breath first. I'll stop, take a deep breath, and be prepared for the scream. Because if you scream from your throat, you really will hurt the cords. And there is a way to do it
up too when
better.
you get to the studio. Warm your voice up so you're nice and ready to go before you step in that booth.
Unless you got one of those characters that's like,
exactly.
This is an 8 o'clock in the morning after a night of partying here. Sometimes, okay, I'm saying all the wrong things, never mind. There's a reason that a lot of people that go into voiceover tend to come from a musical background and are singers, because as singers, you know, you have already learned how to utilize and support in the ways necessary to do it without hurting yourself. And frankly, if you do it without support and stuff, it sounds grating and it's kind of irritating and horrible. Wow, okay, shut up.
You're just a bunch of derelicts in Canada, aren't you? Admit it.
We just drink.
Drink and smoke.
When I started in this business, we smoked in the booth. All of us. There'd be like 8 actors in there all. Because I'm in the old school guys, you know, in a world, one man. And then we had to smoke in the hallway. We were appalled. Now it's like you're such a pariah. It's like you need to be 12 blocks away.
I love this story about James Coburn. It reminds me. He used to always go in the booth, and the first thing he would do is light up a stogie.
Yeah.
And they would always go, James, please, not today. No cigar smoking in the booth. He'd go, okay. And he'd go in. The first thing he'd do is light up a cigar.
That's old.
With James Coburn, you can do anything you want, pretty much.
Scott, I have a question for
Yes,
you.
Doug.
How did you come up with the scream for Duo in Gundam Wing?
When Death Scythe blows up,
Yeah.
the infamous no. For those who know this story, I simply channeled the moment when my ex-wife had run over my Harley. Oh. To her credit, she was just learning how to drive. And she was more mortified than I was. There's some confusion between reverse and forward. Because I heard her screaming. I go in there and she's like, I go, well, there's my truck and there's your car and my bike. Oh, shit. Well, I've done that for a long time.
From your early careers and now, like, what is the number one thing that you guys have all done that like stuck out in the beginning? And what is the thing you're looking for most in the future? Like in terms of like what?
In terms of like world peace and stuff?
In projects, anything that like sticks out at you. Like what have you done? Like, what was the one thing early on that was really like important to you? Like that you were doing, like, oh wow, I'm gonna look back at that, I'm gonna remember that is something I was proud of doing. And what is something you're looking forward to in the future? Maybe something you can't talk about.
Because there's sort of a thing, I mean, we do all these things. So you hit on it very well with your show. We go in and we do these things. We have no idea if they're ever gonna be anything. I did voice work I've been doing cartoons for well over a decade before I ever went to a convention, and holy, did that ever blow my mind. And which is, it still does, which is why I so love doing conventions, because it's like, oh my God, like you guys went. But you never know if you're working on something that's gonna have any impact. Because, you know, I do a lot, you know, I've done like 12,000 episodes. Most stuff you do, you record, you do it, it sticks around for a season and vanishes. It's always in hindsight. I mean, like a show like Beast Wars that we did, there was no way of knowing the impact that it was going to have. It's now the thing that I'm probably proudest of. But it's impossible to predict. There are some shows that you just go, oh my God, I want to be on that, just because it's cool. I mean, being Wolverine, I'm sorry, that's a cool phone call. You know, because it's cool before you start. It's already cool. It's cool because of Steve Bloom. So, you know, it's like, whoa. There's some stuff we get to do this. I was the voice of Hermie the Elf and Yukon Cornelius in a sequel to Rudolph. For me, that was like, Foghorn Leghorn and Baby Looney Tunes, because that's stepping into Mont Blanc's shoes and stuff. And of course, the amazing amount of top secret projects that we can't stop talking.
For me, it was the first Ghost in the Shell movie that I did. I thought this was something that was going to be special and cool, and I really liked it a lot. So I thought that was going to be something outstanding. And then the Joker for me is an incredible character. I love doing him. He's an amazing character. And then this thing I just did, this Joseph Joestar on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and people are going, see? People are going bazibas over this thing, and it's like, you know, you just go in and you do it like any other job, and then the reaction to this thing has been phenomenal. So that's been kind of exciting for me. I really enjoy that.
I think the first time I saw just the opening of Cowboy Bebop, I knew this was going to be amazing. And I didn't think anybody would ever get a chance to see it because we did it, and then 2 years later it finally went to the air. So I just felt like, oh, we're in a vacuum. All right, let's just make a show that we all want to watch because it's really cool. And I think the thing I'm most excited about is Co-Ed 3 in Sailor Moon. I shit you not, but yes, I am Co-Ed 3, and she sounds like Towley from South Park.
We should have a Taliban.
She sounds like Tally, and she's sort of dumb.
So yeah, I can't wait for that. Suzanne Goldish is the director, and Stephanie Shea is our Sailor Moon, and Susie's like, we got Co-Ed number 3. I'm like, really? Because I played a villain, and then I'm one of the villains. Every episode you get a different villain. So I'm one of the villains, and who dies or whatever, gets sealed into something. And then there's Co-Ed number 3 on the treadmill. It's like, she comes back, my recurring Co-Ed 3! And I hope that she never has a name because she's fabulous. And I love her. And I hope you do too.
Some of your best roles don't have names. I've found, you know. But this isn't anime. But when I did my part in the Starving Games, I was girl with backpack. But I get cut in half with a weed eater in like the first 5 minutes. But it's awesome. It's one of my favorites because it's just hilarious. I don't really know. I think the thing that I'm looking the most forward to I can't talk about, which kind of sucks. Sorry, guys. I've never had, like, a lot of times we don't know a lot about the characters that we do before we go in. So really, like they've covered, just whenever they get a really huge response and people are very excited about it and you've kind of, you know, poured your heart and soul into it, any project like that's wonderful. And I've never had a show that I didn't like because I've never had a paycheck. I was like, oh, screw this paycheck. So I pretty much like any time that I go into work, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I feel blessed to be an actor that can get paid to do what I love to do. So yeah.
Have you guys ever gotten like stuck in a character voice? Like after like 8 hours of someone working, just like could not get out of the voice?
No, but you know, I did used to, like when me and my husband first moved in together, I used to play pranks on him, and I would like turn off all the lights in the apartment and hide in like the back under the bed. And then I would like rearrange a couple things so they were in front of the door, so when he came in he would run into them. And I'd be like in the back and it'd be like, ring around the rose. You get really freaked out. He's like, why are you doing this to me? Stop it. In the back, and it would get really creepy. Yeah, I did like to do that.
And he still married you after that?
Yeah, he married me 8 years later, but yeah, it took 8 years for him to get over it. No, I'm just kidding. We slept together for 8 years, but yeah.
That's awesome. No, I've never gotten
Any other questions? Yeah. Oh, where are you?
You point, Richard. Do.
Oh,
you
well,
do.
You already.
That
the gentleman here. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. Do you think in modern anime it's cool to get political messages out there still? Because I grew up from like some anime. There's some political messages. Do you think that's something?
What show was? What show had some?
I don't understand the question.
You said to put political messages in anime today. I think anything we can do to help save our planet right now is probably a good thing, because our planet's going in the toilet, and we need to really, you know, pull on the stick and bring us back to where we need to be, because it's really bad, guys. I don't think we even realize how bad it is. I don't want to bum everybody out, but I think anything we can do in entertainment to try to bring up the awareness of what's going on with our planet, I think would be helpful.
Yeah, I think apathy is really in a bad place right now, and the more apathetic we are, the less we are able to see what is going on around, and we let the idiots run the asylum, you know, and I think politically that's what's happening now.
Anime is a very good platform for it because the writing is so good in anime, and you have these long, you know, with pre-lit stuff, as I said, 22 minutes, save the universe, move on, sell some action figures. Most of it. I mean, a lot of it, that was kind of the formula. So, yeah, it works for money. But because you know, anime tends to be a little more serious, I think, you know, making like, wacky cartoons. It's a good opportunity to do that, be it political or just, you know, making statements. You have time to explore it and to, you know, whether art should be political, I don't know. That's a whole other can of worms.
And I think Ghost in the Shell kind of touches upon some of that stuff too, about the future and the use of technology and, you know, the morality of the way it's used. And I think it's really kind of, to me, that's what makes that show so interesting, is all those dilemmas and layers and things, and I think that makes the show good. You know. Yes.
We have time for a couple more questions. Yes.
I have a question for you. Mary, I saw a YouTube video where you played a song that you sang for Silent Hill. That's beautiful. Now, so the rest of you, have you ever done any like singing work?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, somebody brought in at my panel yesterday, and we played it over the PA, which I did, what was it, Chinese Ghost Story. I did the beautiful romantic, you know, it was sort of the theme of the thing, and then it was also this epic, you know, big Broadway show tune, oh, you know, Demon King stuff. I've done a lot of singing throughout either directly or indirectly. Sometimes characters have to sing, sometimes, you know, not so much really being hired as a singer. That's probably different for you, because you really are. You know, it's like, I'm not a dancer, but I move well. I'm not a singer, but I will. I wasn't the right person to answer that question. Stop talking.
I like to sing too, and I'm in a band in LA, and that's kind of my therapy. So it's fun. I'm a drummer, and I sing in a band. You? Besides terrifying your husband, what do you do?
Yeah, I do. I terrify my husband. I used to sing when I was younger, but I haven't sang in many years, and it's not very good anymore. I did. I stopped doing it. It's one of those things when you don't do it for a really long time.
You never lose it. Shut up.
I don't know, but I have sang in some animes. I sang a song in Heaven's Lost Property. Icarus like busts out all of a sudden and is a pop star for just a little while. And I did a show called Mermaid Melody Pitchy Pitchy Pitch and sang many songs in that. And actually it was really funny because there was this guy named Scott, and he was this big Harley dude, and he did all the scratch tracks for us. And he was like a bald guy that was really intimidating, but he's singing these songs like, as I look at the sky of baby blue. I have the scratch track still. It's the best thing ever. I don't know, that was really random, sorry.
The character I'm doing on My Little Ponies right now was purely a singing character. Traveling sales ponies non-parade. And we did this whole big song that was basically like from the Music Man. And what did he say? Look at what we got here, brother of mine. It's the same in every town. You know, we got trouble right here. River City. So it's all fun and stuff. I will say one thing that's changed in the industry. This occurred to me while I was sitting there not listening to myself. You know, the anime stuff we were doing, you know, with all the like Pokemons, and it was very much kid show. Like some of the stuff we've done now, like this show called Black Lagoon. You know, that was where they had to send people in hazmat suits down into the forbidden word vault with the tongs to get those words out of liquid nitrogen that they're stored in. I'm like, wow, it didn't used to be like this. So, you know, Grumpy Bear never got to use those words except in his head. I mean, that was like brutally realistic. It was all this, you know, like I was playing this guy, whatever. It's just like I'm going, I wouldn't use those words myself, and I have very unlimited censorship. It was like, wow. So that, I mean, that's a thing that's changed. It's getting a little more reality coming into it, less cartoony.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I mean, it's, you know, to say anime, it's a very broad genre. It's like saying television. You know, you're talking comedy, dramedy, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's a good point, because there's a lot of the shows that are cartoony and big and broad, and then there's other shows that are real as live action stuff. So it just depends on what you're working on. This poor guy in the blue shirt has been holding his hand up for 20 minutes here.
All right, on the topic of singing, I kind of just wanted to now, for some reason on that topic of singing, I wanted to hear Brittney Karbowski do a Big Dango Family as Rio Fujibayashi.
Wait, do what? With what? With what? What, in the what?
To do what with a kielbasa?
Big Dango Family as Rio Fujibayashi from Clannad.
What is Big Dunk? What?
No.
I don't know that song.
Oh.
As Ryu from Clon. Wow. I don't even know that song, unfortunately, for you. Okay, sorry.
Any of you four have actually ever had a character that you could implement your own personality into? Because the personalities match very well.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of all of us in everything that we do. That's where we start. We have to start with some form, even in the most broad cartoony characters, you have to start with reality, which means you start with yourself. And then you just build upon that.
Reality?
And then you add you skew off of yourself.
Except for those of us who have no souls.
Skewing yourself.
On many cartoon characters.
No, there's a lot of characters that are just, you make the character yourself instead of making yourself the character, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, look at Nicolas Cage. He's played the same thing in every movie, and it's amazing. And to me, he is Sir Nicolas Cage. I am like his #1 fan. I will go see all of his movies.
That's true about a lot of actors.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, even De Niro, as great as actor as
he's
pretty much Robert De Niro in everything he does.
He is.
You know,
awesome.
there he is. Right
He's
there.
amazing.
Yes, this lovely girl over here, lady.
What kind of characters do y'all want to play, like that you hope for, that you either have in mind that you want someone to create, or that's the most fun for you to play?
Well, I wanted to play Sailor Moon, but they wouldn't even let me audition for her, so I think that kind of sucks.
I made the final round of callbacks.
I think Scott feels the same way.
I was close to Sailor Moon. I was this close, me and one other girl. My take was slightly different on her. It was the more mature version.
Quickly for me, you know what? I've been really, really blessed. And I get to play a lot of great characters, and I'm really happy. And I just look forward to the next thing, which is always fun. But I've been, I don't sit there and go, God, I wish I could do that or whatever. I've just been really fortunate and been able to do a lot of wonderful characters. I've got some really cool characters coming up in the Batman world besides the Joker that I'm doing that I can't talk about.
How much cooler is it going to get than the Joker?
The Joker is pretty cool. Yeah. But I've got a couple other characters in that world that I'm playing and some other stuff, some animated feature stuff. So that's really fun too. And it's just nice to be in all this stuff and be able to do that. So.
You know what the most miraculous and the coolest thing about being a voice actor is? And people go like, do you do any real acting? I think that what we do takes more of a skill set and more ability because, for somebody like myself, if you can imagine it and you can create it, you can be it. I've played men, women, children, monstrous pan-dimensional space beings, small tiny blobs of crime-fighting condiment wasabi.
And this is just in the elevator today.
I know, before I even wake up. We have so much liberty and so much freedom. You can be playing 12 different characters at the same time in the same series. The whole, inside the farm, and you don't like to see it. We have this chance to be anything. We're not limited, film and television is like, yeah, we really liked his read, but his earlobes are about 1/8 of an inch too long.
That did happen. It's just like, we love her, she's perfect, but we need a redhead. I'm like, really? Because there's something called hair dye that you could, so you realize it's all buggy, and yeah.
Yeah, we could go in and be anybody that we want to be.
We're just limited by our vocal cords, really. Yeah. That's it.
In many ways, I think voice acting is more creative than on camera. You look at TV shows, for example, they're basically the same guy in every show, and they do the same thing. They're very natural and real, but they don't get to be these crazy, zany characters that we get to be, so.
Yeah, it's nice that in film, I feel like I'm always playing a high schooler or a early college student or spring break, whatever, and it's nice to be able to play boys and adult women, and I have a much broader range of characters that I can play, and it's fun to act and put creativity into that. So something different. Yeah, because they're like, oh, wait, I know you're older, but you're 4'11", so you look like a kid. So and I'm like, I don't even remember what it was like to be 15.
Well, I think that's all we have time for today, guys. Thank you so much. And I'll see you.